Hello and welcome to Songs for the Struggling Artist, the blogcast. This is episode 511. My name is Emily Rainbow Davis. Hello, welcome. Today's blog is one of those where I feel like I had a real, revelation come to me. I feel like so many things started to make sense that hadn't made sense before. I don't feel like this hasn't happened all the time, but it was nice to realize I see how things work. And, maybe I'm wrong, but it does help to explain a few things about kind of arts economics, which I have previously found quite mysterious. And this explains quite a few of those mysteries to me. So here it is. It is called the Dabbler Economy. When I first moved to New York City, one of the most important lessons I learned pretty quickly was how much I had to be on my guard. I remember how shocked I was by the fact that everyone I encountered was either trying to upsell me or full-on scam me. I remember walking away from a hairdresser in tears because my stylist charged me an extra $20 to blow dry my hair, a service I definitely had not wanted. It was hard, but I took that lesson on board and quickly developed a scam upsell radar. I feel like this lesson had served me well as an artist as well. Maybe. Maybe it's made me unnecessarily skeptical. The thing is, you work out fairly quickly how many things for artists, classes, services, workshops, events, are actually mechanisms for extracting wealth and resources from artists rather than actual benefits. Over the years, I have raised my eyebrows at anything that asks for a fee from artists. Do these people not know that neither I nor any of my friends have any disposable income to speak of? Where do you think I'd be getting the money to go for your month in the seaside cottages or whatever? I apply for all the funded opportunities, but rarely for unfunded ones. They seem nice, but unless I do some crowdfunding, that stuff is not possible. I thought this was the norm because most of the artists I know are similarly unresourced. We chose this life, understanding that it would not be particularly remunerative. So I could not understand all of these opportunities that cost so much money. I worked out the mystery of that recently. It's because those resources, opportunities, and such are not actually for people like me and my friends. They're not supports for underfunded lifelong artists. They are for dabblers, for aspiring artists, for the banker who has always wanted to write a novel. These are structures designed to extract money from moneyed individuals who want to give art a try. You can hella buy your way into the arts. In every medium, in every way. Your talent or skill might come in handy, but they are not necessary at all to buy your way into the art world. I had always wondered why there were so many structures designed to extract money from people who generally do not have it. It didn't make any sense. Why are you trying to get $1,000 from someone who is statistically unlikely to have it? Run your program on hedge fund managers. They have money to spare. But I guess I get it now. All these artist opportunities for sale, residencies, workshops, tutorials, services, are just a way to extract wealth from aspiring artists, from people with an interest and the resource to indulge it. They are for hedge fund managers. They're the blow dry of the art world. You can upsell them, and they'll pay the extra $20 without even worrying about it. The trouble is, there are a lot of opportunities that really could make a difference. Buy enough of them, and you can buy yourself a career. Sometimes, you should pay to have your hair blow dried. What I struggle with is knowing which things are worth the sacrifice and which are just wealth extraction from artists. In my 20s, I was briefly a part of a cult-adjacent group. Think Landmark Forum, but different. I took that first workshop because I saw how they'd transformed someone I knew, and they pitched me on helping me remove all the obstacles to make my dreams come true. I'd already overextended myself financially to take that first workshop. At the end of it, I told them I could not afford to do the next one. They persuaded me that they could help overcome the obstacle of not having money by giving them money. And I fell for this ploy twice. Then I asked for my money back when I realized that the whole thing was just an MLM campaign. They didn't have some magical way to help me make my dreams come true, or even a way to help pay off the debt I'd accumulated by taking their workshops. So many opportunities for artists are like this. They offer possibilities and hopes, means of achieving success, special art marketing skills. And artists will buy them because we are particularly susceptible to magical thinking. And some of these opportunities will lead to success. In my first years as an actor, I never even considered the gigs that wouldn't pay me. Be an unpaid intern or apprentice at a fancy theater? I can't. I gotta eat. But I know now that all those opportunities would have put me on a path that would have been much more likely to lead to success. I had no way of telling the difference between an MLM cult promising me success and an actual promising opportunity. They're all wealth extraction from artists, but only a handful will give you actual benefits. Some of them exist to allow for hedge fund managers to write their memoirs, and some will introduce you to the collaborators with whom you will make art for the rest of your life. Some will be for trust fund kids to try out glass blowing, and some will introduce you to a gallerist who will sell your work. After decades of seeing these sorts of things pass by my radar, I'm still unclear what the opportunities worth paying for are. If I had endless disposable income, it would not be such a tricky question. But as it stands, it's always a question of whether to take a big risk or not. What opportunity is worth risking precarity? Understanding how many of these opportunities are really designed for dabblers helps me evaluate these things a little more clearly. Dabblers are driving the economy, and sometimes they have the right idea. And sometimes they're just dabblers. So I wrote this one a while ago, and I didn't post it for a while because that, award happened, and there was a lot of other stuff going on. And I also didn't want to post it too close to the experience that I had that made me think about it because I didn't want to, So, so it's funny to read it now because I feel like the experiences to pay for are the things that I am doing now, like managing to go to these festivals, even though it is financially stupid. It is, and I've talked this over with several of my fellow artists. This is exactly the thing. Like, we don't know all the time. I feel like that's what the bulk of this post is like, what? How do you know where to put your dreaming dollars? And it's like going to these kinds of events is actually where. It's not going to residencies and whatnot, which is one of the things that, you think, oh, I will, if I go to, whatever residency, that's going to be the thing that, breaks me in. But in fact, it's the reverse. You're going to be able to go to those residencies if you, make some success. They want people either with money or with success. So anyway, it's just interesting to read this one now because to be like, right, no, this one I knew. Going to these festivals, even though I cannot possibly afford them, is actually where to put that money. So, yeah, the funny times. I've met a lot of dabblers, but I don't meet them very often. That's the thing. I think the reason I didn't know about the Dabbler Economy is because I don't meet a lot of dabblers. I mostly meet artists. So I think it's, the things that are revealed in a life in the arts. So what song do I have for you? Well, you would be surprised how many songs there are about dabblers, dabbling, dilettantes, amateurs. I had a long list. I just, did a cursory search through Spotify with, words that are related to those words. And I found so many songs. A lot of instrumentals with dabbling and dilettante. I feel, I'm not sure why, but very curious. But the song that I have chosen, it was just the only one that felt like it was actually addressing the particular kind of dabbler I had in mind. Not exactly, because this is a song about a relationship. And the dabbler in the song is trying out all the things, and it isn't necessarily moneyed. I don't know what the story of the dabbler character is. But the notion of dabbling in the arts is a significant piece of this song. I had a hard time finding the chords because it is by a very sweet, obscure band. I believe they're in Colorado. But I found their song and it was the right one. So, I'm going to play that for you in just a minute. Meanwhile, thank you so much for listening. If you like this podcast, please tell someone about it. Like, review, subscribe. If you would like to support this podcast with money, I am not a dabbler. Pay a non-dabbler. The way to do that would be patreon.com/Emily R. Davis. There's also Ko-fi. There's PayPal. You can do a paid subscription on Substack. All those links are in the show notes. They mean the world to me, really, fundamentally, to me. So if that's something you can do, want to do, I would be extremely grateful. And I am extremely grateful to all of you who are listening, who are here with me through this ridiculous journey. So the song is by a band called The McDeviants. And they are based in Colorado. If you can go see them, please go see them. They seem like they'd be a lot of fun. And I think they are, a pretty small indie band. So just in service of them, I would like to shout them out. If you're in Colorado, go see the McDeviants. This song is, it's just real fun. There are a couple lyrics that I really love. And here it is. It is called The Dabbler. I was out in the pub, just a plain Thursday Eve, when I noticed a lass that just wouldn't leave. Her eyes locked with mine, and she smiled that smile so bright. Well, I wasn't out searching, but it seemed that she was, 'cause she came up to me, started chatting me up, and the next thing I knew, she gave me her number that night. Later that week, I was making her dinner. I felt like a warrior, felt like a winner. We showed off tattoos and we kissed like it mattered. Since I'm not attractive, you can bet I was flattered. But I got a strange call about 11 days in. She said she'd decided she wants to be friends. Then another call came 7 days after that. Said she'd made a mistake and she wanted me back. Well, you dabbled in theater when you were in college. You dabbled in art for the Renaissance knowledge. You dabbled in whiskey. You dabbled in wine when you became a poet. You dabbled in rhyme. You dabbled in gourmet and even cigars. You dabbled in motorcycles, old-fashioned cars. You dabbled in coffee. You dabbled in tea. But my darling, my dear, you're not gonna dabble in me. Come up to the penthouse, don't stay in the lobby. She ain't the first, and she certainly won't be the last. I'm not an unwritten book, or an unfinished song, or an instrument she didn't study that long. So slunch, my love, I'll see you round, it's been a blast. People aren't teddy bears to pull off a shelf when you need some comfort, 'cause you're not yourself. So don't be surprised if I don't stick around when your indecision starts bringing me down. And I hope that you'll listen, but I know that you won't when you next want to call. For the love of God, don't, and find a new path. Maybe go somewhere else. And last but not least, you can go fuck yourself. Well, you dabbled in theater when you were in college. You dabbled in art for the Renaissance knowledge. You dabbled in whiskey. You dabbled in wine when you became a poet. You dabbled in rhyme. You dabbled in gourmet and even cigars. You dabbled in motorcycles, old-fashioned cars. You dabbled in coffee. You dabbled in tea. But my darling, my dear, you're not gonna dabble in me. You're not gonna